All right, guys, what's going on? We're back for another live lesson. Hopefully, everybody's going to be following along with us today. We're going to be doing another math, no calc section. Just like always, as we begin these live videos lately, we're hoping that you guys are remaining healthy and not too stir crazy in quarantine right now. I know here in LA we basically can't do anything. So again, what we're trying to say to you guys is this is a great opportunity for you guys to take advantage of the extra time. You can't hang out with friends if you don't have any after school activities, right? There's only so many video games you can play. There's only so much Netflix you can watch. And unlike me when I was your age, a very lazy student, somebody that probably wouldn't have taken advantage of time like this, I want you guys to do the opposite of that. I want you guys to use this time to get better. So if nothing else, obviously some of these tests you guys have, I'm sure, already worked through, those that are paying attention today. But again, one of the things that I want you guys to do is even if you've already worked through these tests, if you want to work through a different test, if you have other tests that you want to work through, you can let us know. Maybe we can do one of those in the future. But more importantly, this just gives you guys an opportunity to stay diligent with your prep. I hope more than anything that's what we're trying to accomplish here. That you guys just stay focused, you stay diligent with your prep, and that you're working through that stuff. One of the things, guys, if you guys are juniors in high school, so for those that are watching, if you guys are juniors, I'm gonna post a live video stream that we have coming up. I'll be emailing everybody out too, so if you guys are already on the app, you're already on our mailing list or email list, whatever, you guys will see this as well. But on Sunday, March 29th this week, and then the following Sunday, which I think is April 5th, we're going to be hosting a YouTube live Q&A, basically going through anybody's questions that you guys might have regarding the college expectations for juniors, and what that's going to mean. So let me post that. College expectations for juniors and requirements, given the fact that there's so much craziness right now. So link to live stream for Q&A on Sunday, March 10th. Okay, guys, so that's in the comments section now. Again, we'd love to hear from you guys as we work through this test. I'm going to time myself. I think last time I said I wasn't going to time myself. I wasn't going to focus on that stuff, but I was a little bit too competitive last time, and we ended up timing ourselves anyway. So as you guys are looking through this video, this is practice test number 9. Hopefully everybody has that pulled up in the digital downloads that we posted in the video description. If you guys have any questions or comments for us while we're going through this, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, we'll get started with this pretty quickly. Okay. Anybody have any questions before we get going? If you guys want to remain anonymous while you guys are watching, can you guys just thumbs up the video? Let me know that you guys are watching, that you guys are paying attention, that everything is making sense. So we'll set the timer for 25 minutes. Again, this is math test number 9. Hopefully this keeps you guys diligent with your prep. There's so much extra free time right now that no other students have ever had. And so 25 minutes is on the clock. We'll work through test number 9 again. And the time starts now, guys. Okay. So, oops, timer is starting, and I don't have the right video up. Okay. So let's take a look at this one. See what we got here. This is a little bit tricky question to start us off here. Let's see what we have. We have what is the value of x? Learning from my mistakes last time, I'm already wasting too much time. What is the value of x plus y? Guys, I think we just do 2x minus y equals 8. X plus 2y equals 8. I think we just subtract down, right? This should work out. Just kidding, that's not going to work. Man, this is somewhat of a difficult question to start off with, but let's just do this. 2x minus y equals 8. Kind of a tough one. It's very straightforward on what we need to do, but somewhat tough to. Maybe I'm just overthinking this one. Let's see, negative y, negative 2x plus 8. Y is equal to 2x minus 8. So we're going to plug that back in up here. So we get x is equal to x plus 2 times 2x minus 8 is equal to 4. What do we have there? 5x minus 8 is equal to 4. This seems way too complicated. I'm going to move on, guys. I don't know if I'm just overthinking it or I need to warm up here a second, but this one seems way too complicated. This one's a lot easier, right? We're just going to distribute this in. So we get 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x squared minus 3x. Okay, is that right? So we get 5x squared minus 5x. That one's a lot easier. I don't know what to deal with the first one. I'm sure if I come back to it. So that's one thing that you guys want to remember. If you guys come back to a question like number 1, and it's probably that I was just overthinking it, overlooking it. And if you do that question, you spend too long while you're doing question number 1, right? That's a huge issue as you go forward in the test because who knows what else is going to be there. Maybe that question becomes super easy if you just come back to it at the end. Okay, let's see this one. Which of the following statements is true about the graph of this equation, the xy plane? Okay, so guys, anytime you have an equation on the SAT, see if you can get it into, even if you might not use it, see if you can get it into y equals mx plus b form. Okay, 2y is equal to 3x minus 4, right? Just adding the 3 over, divided by 2. So we get y is equal to 3 halves x minus 2. Okay, it has a negative slope. It doesn't have a negative slope because it's y equals mx plus b. Okay, it doesn't have a negative slope. It doesn't have a negative slope. It does have a positive slope, and it does have a negative y-intercept. So the answer is D on that one. Pretty sure on that. 4 looks like a tough one just because there's a lot going on with number 4. Let's keep going. 5 also looks tough. A lot going on. 6 looks a lot more straightforward, especially if you know how to do it. This is one of those rules-based questions that we've done in the past. So the circle above, the length of arc ADC is 5 pi. Okay, and x is equal to 100. What's the length of arc ABC? Okay, guys, so yeah, on this one, right, we just do, let's see, the length of arc is 5 pi and x. So x equals 100, so that's a degree measure, so we're just going to do 100 over 360 is equal to 5 pi over x. To find the total circumference. And then it's just, okay, so yeah, we get 10 over 36, 5 over 18 is equal to 5 pi over x, so you get 90 pi is equal to 5x, so x is equal to, or ADC, whatever, is equal to 18 pi. So the total circumference, guys, is equal to 18 pi all the way around. This is total circumference. So you just do, degree measure, degree of sector over 360, right, because the total is 360, is equal to arc length of sector, arc length, over total circumference. Okay, and so we know that total circumference then is equal to 18 pi. That's what we were solving for because we had all the other variables. And right, and the last one was equal to 5 pi, so the rest of the circle, it's going the rest of the way around, should be equal to b. I was going pretty quickly on that, so hopefully that's not too confusing. Let's keep going. If 8 over x equals 160, what is the value of x? So 8 over x, guys, is equal to, don't forget, we can always cross multiply, 160 over 1, right? We cross multiply here, we get 8 is equal to 160x. If we just look at this problem, guys, if 8 is equal to 160x, regardless of whether or not we know what that actual value is, there's only one decimal point there. So again, the whole key is do you know that 160 is over 1, right? That's a rules-based question. That's just a proportion problem. So hopefully everybody is following along with that one. Okay, remember in our last video for test number 10, we talked about how this value over here, anytime you have a double variable over here, all we want to do is we just want to take this next problem. So question number 8, this is again on test number 9, and just distribute, and everything should be pretty straightforward from there. So we get 2ax minus 15 is equal to, now we're going to distribute, we get 3x plus 15, right, plus 5x minus 5. All right. Okay, so we get 2ax is equal to 3x is equal to 8x. 8x. If no value of x if no value satisfies the equation. So there we go. If no value satisfies the equation, this should be 8 and this should be 8. So that the value has to be 4, right? If you subtract, if this is 4, that becomes 8x. And if you subtract 8x on this side and subtract, those both go away and you're just left with two numbers. That's what's called parallel lines. I should have read the question a little bit better. Does that all make sense, guys? Hopefully you guys are following along with that one. That was number 8. I think that's the right answer. Number 9, it says, this is a good one, guys. A system of 3 equations, a graph in the plane. How many solutions does the system have? Remember, guys, if there's 3 equations, a system of 3 equations, then they all have to, right? A system of equation crosses. Usually we're dealing with 2, and it crosses at 1 point, right? And that's the answer. That's the solution to the systems of equations. But if we add a third, right? If we add a third line in somehow, or something like this, right? If we add a third point in, something like this, there's still only one solution. They only cross, all 3 of those only cross at 1 point. So we just have 1 point there. Let's keep going here. Okay, same question. Looks like same question for number 10 as we saw number. This is a hard test, by the way, guys. Starting with number 1. This is a hard test. Okay, remember that if we have an AX, BX, right, just like we had over here, if you guys have a value, if you guys are given A, B, or C, and it's said that those are constants, and it looks like an equation like this, where we have one side of the equation, and then we have a set other side of the equation, right? That equation side is set. Then we're just going to solve, just distribute out, and the problem should make sense from there, right? So we're going to just distribute out. We get AX times 5x squared, so we get 5AX cubed, right? That's what AX times 5x, minus A times B, so we get ABX squared, plus 4AX, plus 4AX. Okay, and then we're going to do, what is the value of AB is what they're looking for. We get plus 15x squared, right? 3 times 5x squared minus 3bx plus 12. Right? Does that all make sense, guys? Everybody following along with that one? Okay, then we are looking for what? A and B. So we get ax cubed. A has to equal 4, right? Because now we get 4 times 5. On this side, we have to look for a value that's 20. There's only one cubed value here. So we get 5 times 4 is equal to 20. So that now is 20x cubed on this side. So we know that A must equal 4. A equals 4. Okay, and if we know A equals 4, then all we have to do is solve for B. And that's how we're going to do, let's see, there's 15x squared. So we get minus, let's see, this is 9x squared. So 9x squared is minus 9x squared. Here we have 15x squared. And we have minus ABX squared here. So let's see, A is 4. We get minus 4BX squared plus 15x squared equals negative 9x squared. Oh, right, minus 15, yeah, minus 15x squared. So negative 4bx squared is equal to negative 24x squared. So b is equal to 6. So 6 times 4 is equal to 24. That's a rules-based question, guys. Number 11 is another rules-based question. Okay, we're just going to cross multiply here, which the following represents all the possible values that satisfy the equation. 2x, right, is equal to 2x times x minus 3. 2x is equal to 2x squared minus 6x. We're going to subtract 2x on both sides, minus 2x. Right, we get 2x squared minus 8x equals 0. We're going to factor out, right, we factor out a 2 from that, so we get 2 of 2x times x minus 4 equals 0. So we get x is equal to 0 or 4. Now be careful, go back and plug that in. Does that work? So if I plug in 0, I get 0 is equal to 0. That works. If I plug in 4, I get 4 over 4. I get that. Yep, so that works as well. So the answer's got to be B for that one. Okay, that's just straightforward. Again, cross multiplication. If you guys remember that rule, if you guys remember the rule for cross multiplication, you should be in great shape. Which of the following is equivalent? So guys, this is a great example of a problem that you want to use for this word equivalent. When you have a situation like this, plus 5 over a number, you guys could find a common denominator for both. Common denominator for both, right? That's something that you could definitely use here. But this word equivalent comes into play really effectively here, because the other thing that we could do is we could just plug in, if you see the word equivalent ever, while you don't need to use it every time, when you do want to use it, you can just plug in a number like x equals 3. That's what this word equivalent gives you. So that's something that we wanted to talk about in the video too. So you get 1 over 2 times 3 plus 1 plus 5, right? Plus 5. And so now you get 1 over 6 plus 1 is 7 plus 5. Okay, 5 over something is equal to 7, so we get 1 over 7 is equal to 35 over 7, right? 35 over 7 is equal to 5. That's how we got to 35 over 7. Is everybody following along here? Everybody good? 35 over 7 is equal to 36 over 7. And now we're going to go back and we're going to look at our answer choices and see if we can do quick math to see if we plug in the answer. If we plug in x equals 3 to each of these answer choices, one of them is going to give us 36 over 7. So 6 plus 5 is 11 over 7. That doesn't work. 6 plus 6 over 7. That doesn't work. 3 times 10 is 5. 35 over, nope, it's got to be 36, right? So that's got to be D. It's a really effective way. So if you guys are ever confused, if you see the word equivalent and you're not sure what to do, just remember the word equivalent means that you can always plug in an answer. You can always plug in a number for that question. You don't have to, but you can always plug in a number, and a lot of times that makes it a lot easier. So you plug in a number to the equation that they give you, the expression that they give you, and then you plug in a number to the answer choices, and that will give you the right answer as long as you plug in that same number and they equal each other. In this case, it was 36 over 7. You plug in 3 to that, you get 36 to D, you get 36 over 7. If you plug it into the original expression, you also get 36 over 7. Which of the following is a graph of the parabola? So guys, if you know the graph of a parabola, this point right here, this is just the this is what we call vertex form. Okay, so I highly encourage you guys to memorize vertex form. Okay, so vertex form just says f of x is equal to a times x minus h quantity squared plus b. Okay, and so again, if we're looking at this, this is f of x is equal to, you'll notice that you probably don't need the rest of these. Let's see, we get f of x is equal to a times x minus 3 plus 1 based on that equation. And so yeah, there's only one answer, right? Oh, wait a sec, there's not. Oh yeah, you might have to solve for a here. If you plug in 2, then 5 and 2, right? 5 is equal to a times x minus 3 plus 1. Right? These guys are off, these x plus 3s, because that's not part of the equation. Now you're just solving for a, so you get 4 is equal to, oops, we got to plug in, what was that value? This is a 4 as well. It needs to be 4. A times 1 plus 1. Oh no, so a equals 4. So the answer's got to be a. Okay, so that's just vertex form. Memorize it, and then you can just plug in numbers, right? You can plug in points on the graph. Okay, anytime we see a solution set like this, if you're shading a certain region, always plug in the point 0, 0 and see if it works. So if they're saying, right, if they're saying that these, in the following, does the shaded region represent the solution set? So if you see the solution set, if 0, 0 works for both of these, that means 0, 0 is being covered by both lines. So in this first one, is 0 greater than 0 plus 2? No, right? So we know this line, this y equals x plus 2, which is this line right here, right? Because that's a positive slope. We know that that line is being shaded away from the 0. Okay, it means that it's being shaded away from the 0, so all of this part should be up here. Okay, and so that means that answer choice A is off, and answer choice, right, this should all be up here. Okay, so answer choice A is off and answer choice D is off because those are the B and C are the only ones. And then so get this next one, we plug in 0, 0, right? Does this next one work? So 0, right, 0 plus 0 is less than 6, meaning that for this line here, right, for this line here, everything that includes 0 should be shaded, so all of this information, right, all of this, because 0, 0 does work when we plug it in, meaning that this is the only part of the equation that works, so the answer has to be answer choice B. Okay, so you guys can work through that problem as you, right, that's it. Plug in 0, 0 anytime you get a system of inequalities like that. What is the solution set? So anytime you guys see a problem like number 15, guys, what time is it, Bo? How much time do we have left? We have about 8 minutes and 45 seconds left. What is the solution to all of the solution set to the equation? Just go back and plug these in. So -1 plus 2 is equal to 1. The square root of 1 is 1. -1, -1, that works. Okay, so -1 does work, so it's not that and it's not that. If I plug in 2 now, 2 plus 2 is 4. That doesn't work, so it's got to be B. Because you get 2, if you plug in 2, you get 2 plus 2 is 4. Square root of that is 2. That does not equal -2. So the answer is just -1. -1 is the only solution that works to that equation. Let's keep working through these. What is the volume in cubic centimeters of a right rectangular prism that has a length of 4? This is really easy, guys. Just remember that rectangular prisms is just length times width times height. Length times width times height. A rectangular prism looks like this, right? It's pretty sure it's the most common form of volume that you'll see. It's like that. 4 times that's 360. 4 times 9, right, is 36 times 10 is equal to 360. In fact, my color blue is so consistent. Okay. Next one, if x satisfies the equation above, what is the value of 2x plus 1? Be careful. 4x plus 2, right? Before you guys do anything else, you can just see we divide this whole thing by 2. All of a sudden on the left side, we get 2x plus 1, which is what we're looking for. Divide is equal to 2, so the answer has to be 2. That's a very common SAT problem that you guys can work through very quickly. If you guys are just looking at problems, you can work through that problem very, very quickly. The SAT loves to throw these types of questions at you that if you know kind of the shortcut or if you're looking for it, right, that question becomes a 2-second question because you're looking for it, right? Because you're looking for like a quick shortcut to find the right answer. The figure above, the function g is defined by g of x, f of x plus 6. What is the maximum value of g? If the maximum value, if this is f of x, guys, and g is just up 6, right, the maximum value of g is just at 8, right? That's just graphs of functions, right? Because this value here is just a vertical shift, and that's just something that's coming from graphs of functions in Algebra 2, right? I highly encourage you guys to remember vertical shifts of a function. At 6 is just a vertical shift up, so if the highest value of f of x is at 2, we just shift that up 6 units, and so the highest value of g of x is at 6. Or is at 8, rather. 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay, this next one, what is the value of tan p? We have a right triangle. Just draw that out, right? We have a right triangle where PQR, so PQR, where the sine of r, I actually drew this one pretty well. Sine of r is equal to 4, right? 4 over 5, rather. So that's hypotenuse. Sine of r is equal to 4 over 5, meaning opposite over hypotenuse. And now we're looking for the tan of p. Well, guys, 3, 4, 5 right triangles. That's a Pythagorean theorem, Pythagorean triple. 3, 4, 5 right triangles come up all the time on the SAT math section. So that would just be the tangent of this is opposite of 3. So this is just equal to 3/4. Opposite over adjacent. So the answer is just 3/4 for this one. Okay, and then finally for number 20, the graph of the linear function is shown above. The graph, so y equals mx plus b, guys. This comes up all the time. Please make sure that you spend some time. Y equals mx plus b, right? Make sure we posted the information about our app, StarU. You can do linear equations problems till you can't do them anymore. I highly encourage you guys to do those. Y equals mx plus b. The graph of the linear function is shown in the xy plane. The graph of the linear function g, right, is perpendicular to the graph of f and passes through this point. What is the value of g of 0? Okay, a lot going on here, guys. But we know based on this slope, right, this is up 1, 2 over 1. So this equation that we're looking at is y equals negative 2x plus 3. That's the slope of function f, or the equation of function f. If we know this next one is perpendicular, right, if we know it's perpendicular, then we know that this is going to be y is equal to negative 1/2 x, negative 1/2 x plus b, right? That's perpendicular. Perpendicular lines have a opposite reciprocal slope, and it passes through this point. So we get 3 is equal to negative 1/2 times 1 plus b, just plugging in xy down to here. So we get 3 equals negative 1/2, negative 1/2 plus b. Yeah, so it's just 3.5 equals b, and so that's what g of 0. So g of 0 is just equal to 3.5 because that's what b equals. When x is 0, y is 3.5. So 3.5 is, or 7 halves is the right answer for that one. Okay, 3.5 or 7 halves. Let's see how much time we got left here. 3.5 minutes. Let's see what we have to answer still. I don't know if we've been getting these ones right. Hopefully we have. Check them out. You guys can go back and review them. Again, these videos largely are just designed to show you guys how, just to keep you guys on track. Okay, we have a few early problems. I don't expect these to be very hard, but I just didn't want to do word problems right off the bat. It seemed like it was going to be too much. There's another y equals mx plus b equation. They're all over the place. This is the most important rule that you guys can learn or memorize or review, whatever you want to call it, for the no calc section. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, the equation above gives the amount in C dollars. Each hired is the electrician. The electrician worked 2 hours longer on Mrs. Sanchez than how much more did the electrician charge? Okay, so the cost, right, is equal to 2 hours more. So we'll just do 75, right, times 1 hour plus 125, right, versus 75 times 3 hours because he worked 3 hours more on, or 2 hours more on the other job. So 1 times 75, 150, right? Worked 150 out because he worked 2 hours more. Each hour was a cost of $75. So he worked $150 more. Look at this, another y equals mx plus b equation, right? Y equals mx plus b. Guys, even if they give it to you in different variables, h and s in this case, that doesn't mean that it's not a y equals mx plus b equation. It just means they're giving you different variables instead of y and x. But don't let that affect how you're answering the question. Okay, this one says the front of a roller coaster is at the bottom of a hill 15 feet above the ground. If the front of the roller coaster rises at a constant rate of 8 feet per second, so 15 feet above the ground is the starting point. So that would mean it's 8 feet per second. So it's not this one, and it's not this one. It's 15 feet above the ground. It's got to be A, right? I don't know where the 335 is coming from. Maybe I'm missing something. Let's go to this last one. I don't know why this one seems so hard. The equation above, what is the value of x plus y? Of x plus y. I think we can just do this one. Let's just plug it in, right? Because if we just guess x plus 2y, if x is equal to 2, no, that doesn't work. X is equal to 6? No. How much time do we have left? Why is number 1 the hardest question on the test? X equals 4? X equals 3. Nope. Maybe we do have to solve for it really quickly. Okay, so we get y is equal to 2x plus 8. Plug it in, we get x plus 4y plus 8. 4y. 4y minus, right? Sorry, minus 8. 4y minus 16. That might be it where I made a mistake. Plus x. 4x. That's it. 4x equals 4. Plus 16. That's where I made a mistake. 5x equals 20. X equals 4. So if x equals 4, y equals 0. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So this is B. So that's just a system of equations question. Right on time. I think we got all those questions right, guys. I'm not totally sure, but that's test number 9 for the no calculator section. You guys can go through the answers. If I missed any, I apologize. But look, we're not going to plan to go through the answers on these live videos just because it takes a little bit too long. What I really want to do is I want to set these live videos up for you guys so that you guys are able to stay studying, that it keeps you guys honest given how much extra time you guys are going to have over the course of the next several weeks, several months. So again, this is largely designed to just give you guys some more practice to continue to work through this stuff. If you guys have any questions for me after we're done with these videos, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, hopefully that all made sense. Hopefully you guys were able to work through that test number 9 as well. And if you guys have any questions going forward, just make sure that you put them in the comments section. Okay, guys, great job today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys soon.